Hey, yo, I'm about to defend being a douchebag. Allow me to read to you all from the Book of Cocky by Saint Kid Rock. They say I'm cocky, and I say what? It's not bragging, motherfucker, if you back it up. So, yeah, Chepo called me a condescending person who comes off like a douchebag. And I'm going to level at him now the charge that he's a hypocrite. And I'm going to do it 3 different ways. Pone, pone, pone. Okay, so he called me a douchebag, and obviously I gather from that he thinks that not being condescending to people is better than doing so. But in saying that I come off like a douchebag, he is then condescending to me. Pot, kettle, black. Hypocrite. Douchebag Dr. Pecker Cherry. Reason number 2 that Chepo is a hypocrite. I've previously talked about biological and social evolution in this video series. And I also hold that evolution happens on a personal scale. And you could also refer to that as mental development. Chepo, you believe that I'm wrong for denoting that there's something about less intelligent or less developed people that I use to make myself look better in an emotional way. You don't like it that I talk about people who don't have the same logical tools that I do and make the claim that I am somehow worth more than them. Your hypocrisy here is that you use the same reasoning in arguing for abortion. Fetuses have no reasoning, no brainwaves, no thoughts on par with their mothers, and therefore they are not as important as their mother, who is already here and might be suffering. Hypocrite. Mega Chepo hypocrisy number 3. Didn't you tell Fitch that talking to him was like talking to a wall, that your arguments were falling on deaf ears, and that he was being intellectually dishonest? How was that not condescending? I know that I was condescending with him, but at least I still have channels of communication open with him, and when he does come to the side of reason, I will be there for him. I'm doing this video in douchebag mode because Chepo said I come off like a fucking douchebag when I'm condescending. And he also means by that nothing else good comes from condescension. And I disagree. And I'm about to tell you why. Condescension is a tool, just like logic, and it's useful when you're expressing that you are confident that your ideas are sound. I know that the word condescension has a very negative connotation to it. But, then again, so do words like skepticism and atheism. And in the realm of argument that both of us have taken it upon ourselves to help other people with our discussions, the word science can have a very negative connotation to it when a fundy fucktard religious person hears it. Dr. Pecker. Wouldn't you like to be a pecker too? Okay, so about talking to fitful thinking and considering it being like talking to a wall. Realize, fitful thinking has a mental register, and every time he is brought to the point where he has to say, well, I don't know for sure, let's change the subject. Quick. That's the kind of resistance that you get when challenging people's core values on religion. They shut down. They suddenly don't want to accept information anymore. It's too painful to their belief system. But don't be discouraged. The people that you're trying to help see the darkness of religion come closer to the truth every time that their doubt shuts down their brain. If you do it enough, he will have no choice but to abandon his previous thinking, because it will cause him more pain to hold on to it than to give it up. Now, Chepo asked me to specifically counter an argument, and for a while, I'm going to grant him some specific focus. Chepo wants me to argue against his statement that sparing suffering to the mother is not an immoral act. So, here I go. When weighing the suffering of the mother versus the suffering of the fetus, the way that Chepo has set up during those time periods where the fetus does not feel pain, it's hard to argue that the suffering of the mother is not of more concern. But I find this to actually be a false dichotomy, because the suffering of the fetus is not the only aspect of harm that is being done to it that should be measured against the merits of killing it. Death, removal of a future, and dehumanization on a societal scale can also be considered bad things that are happening to the fetus during an abortion. Cherry poppin' pecker. Moreover, I find that limiting the argument of abortion to the narrow-minded scope of only what's good for the mother's freedom, only in terms of the pregnancy, is harmful to society in that it blinds us from addressing the other issues at hand. When environments arise that would lead a mother to choosing to get an abortion, instead of attacking those factors, we can ignore them by extolling the virtues of protecting a woman's right to choose what to do with her body. As long as we consider that the most important virtue to hold on to in this issue is just that. And we can do this all the while creating the hellish environment on Earth that would lead a woman to kill her own children or not want to bring them into this world. That line of reasoning is hella fucked up and immoral. And a little clarification of my own arguments. The odds that were stacked against me, against my existence, by my mother's insanity were a personal experience, but that did not directly lead me to conclude that life is more precious. It led me to investigate further the issues surrounding life's worth more than other people. Similarly, a person who wins the lottery cannot claim that life is easy or more fruitful. but they would be more open to these kind of ideas than someone who was raised in the slums of Mexico City. Must drink douchebag juice. Also, the fact that my mother has been insane since I was born allowed me to better scrutinize her beliefs more than most people when they are indoctrinated as children. I will agree that personal experiences have little or no weight in the realm of logic and reason, but logic and reason are not the only ways that people experience the world. And personal experiences are valid if they can prove to be exceptions which counter the absolutism of rules and hypotheses. And now for a guitar riff that will make Fitch burn his guitar. Little break, little break, little break. I know that the word little break, little break, little break.
Do you like looking at yourself in the camera?
Yeah, I do. It's like making faces in the mirror.
Especially with what you're wearing.
What's wrong with what I'm wearing?
You look like a fucking douchebag. You're so funny.
I do it like this.
You can't talk like that.
I can. Okay. Chepo wanted me to... What?
It looks too funny. It looks too funny. Who does that? Who does that? I've never seen anyone.
Is this better?
No. It's worse, but so funny. You don't just see somebody walking down the road like so, talking.